Welcome back to Captain America Super Soldier. So it's now time to find a way to end this.
How do I end this shit? And also, yeah, this will be the final part of Sega's illustrious MCU game rank.
Alright, we need to find... There are a bunch of turrets, maybe a couple of people with guns, a bunch of foot soldiers, and a Scorcher.
Okay.
Fair enough.
When I say illustrious, I preface more the ill part of it.
Well, I guess this should even the odds for them.
I'm confident you're using the sarcasm, Dweebs.
Wow, how did you figure that out?
Experience.
Yeah,
there you go, now it's time to weaponize the Scorcher and starts blasting everyone. Whee!
Oh, yeah. The best laid plans don't mean crap.
Does Captain America have a no-gun policy or something?
No, remember, even in the movies he used them frequently.
Oh, sorry, it's one of the Batman and Superman is one thing. Captain America works.
Also remember, in general, Dweebs, the Marvel Universe operates in a more... even the heroes of the Marvel Universe still operates in a less Boy Scouty kind of way. They allow themselves to injure and kill freely their opponents because, if it's for the sake of saving someone else. While the DC heroes are more... tend to apply their more righteousness in terms of, behavior, like Superman.
Oh yeah, it boils down to the fact that Marvel superheroes are men given, are humans given godlike abilities, whereas DC superheroes tend more to be like gods who try to, be more human.
Exactly. It's I forgot who said it specifically. I know it's a quote that originates for a long time and a lot of people have used it, but the fact that superhero stories are essentially a modern day version of Greek mythos.
Greek mythos, yeah.
Yeah, with and some of them did use the characters as paragons of justice, or righteousness, sorry. So it makes sense that some of these characters will also apply these morals onto themselves. All right, let's try to. Yeah, I only have one.
Well, yeah, I mean, Superman is basically Moses with aliens.
Well, yes and no, I guess. Well, because it doesn't. It's not really the situations where the Kryptonian are held hostages on Earth. Technically, they are with Brainiac, but it's not the situation like the Earth were like the enemy. The Earthlings were like the enemy.
To be fair to you, there was the new Krypton arc.
Is that Jova the shit that afterwards Superman does the stupid thing of walking on the 52 states?
Yep.
Oh god, that was terrible.
So technically he is Space Moses when you get down to it.
Well, I guess after so many decades they found a way to justify that, I suppose.
New Krypton arc. It had a lot of good and a lot of stupid.
Also, wasn't that pretty much the tail end of the quote-unquote regular DC universe before Flashpoint happened?
Yeah, it was along those points, yep.
So it was among many of story arcs that were abruptly interrupted and never finished.
It kind of happened a bit alongside Cry for Justice, too.
Well, yeah, I think so. Oh, Cry for Justice was more conclusive, technically. It was a piece of shit, mind you, but it was conclusive.
Yeah.
Although, can't remember. No, what? Sure. One thing that was... Oh, shit. One thing that wasn't conclusive instead of was Cassandra Cain's story arc, where Batman was finally considering actually adopting her. Also, what are you doing, sir? 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 Oh, I just guess it's just a ragdoll.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Walk through it. I have to go over it.
Getting over it with Steve Rogers.
Great. Better get out of their line of sight.
Yeah, that's much better. But no, but yeah, the DC universe at the time had all these couple of story arcs that just had to be stopped because then the Dio just wanted to realize his own version of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Honestly, I haven't checked in a while how the new DC universe is going. So I know that Watchmen is still the characters from Watchmen is still being used just as mere plot points with none of their original dignity. So there's that. That's nice.
Wow, I think now Tio's the sarcastic one.
How did you guys do it?
Well, this is a combination of things. One, I too am trained in the art of detecting sarcasm. Apparently I can only count. I can count on like two. I can count on one hand in the past year the number of times, or any of you have mentioned the comic book storyline where you remarked positively on it.
Well, because that's probably because you're better remember the negative examples we said.
We don't really talk about. I mean, at most, if we ever talk about comic books, we just compare them to movies that they're based on.
Well, maybe you, Dweebs, and keep also referring to stuff that happened.
Okay. It's a good job. It's a good job. Captain America's wearing gloves. Otherwise.
Yes. Well, although it's leather. Sorry, that was too close to explosion.
Otherwise we'd have to rename him Shazam.
Also, it's leather, so I don't remember if leather is as good as an insulant as much as rubber or plastic.
Oh yeah, I remember that bit from the movie where Captain America fucking dies, but then gets resurrected. No wonder that super serum was.
Well, technically, like I've said in the previous part, that technically has happened in the comics. It's just that they did this thing where, oh no, he didn't actually die. He was just time traveling this whole time.
It's
Sorry.
literally the same thing that happened with
I don't think I
Batman.
actually elaborated on that because there was something else was happening. But yeah, the funny thing is that it didn't even happen in the main Civil War event, but in the Captain America comic book line there was a tie-in to the event. Because the actual Civil War comic book just ends with Cap's side surrendering, unfortunately, and Cap being arrested. But the tie-in picks it up right afterward and shows that Steve gets shot by, I think, Crossbones, the guy that shows up in the Civil War movie. And everyone panics, and then eventually I think Falcon becomes the new Cap for a while before Steve gets resurrected, like Peter was saying. Ooh. But yeah, that's also the fact that when the Civil War movie was about to come out, there were people genuinely wondering, not necessarily even concerned, just wondering, oh, we will also kill Cap at the end. Then we started hearing the news that, prevalent members of Hydra, like Crossbones, who were featured in the movie, were like, oh shit, they are really gonna kill Cap. But no, surprisingly, it didn't happen.
You can kind of consider Steve's story in Endgame as a loosely inspired by that storyline, considering Steve goes in time traveling to put the Infinity Stones on their place, but then somewhere along the way decided to retire, and then Falcon becomes the new Captain America.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm wondering how they're going to handle that in Phase 4.
Got some tanks that need showing.
I'm pretty sure it's easy to do.
Well, Falcon and Winter are going to have their own Disney Plus show.
Which I don't think it's too long, since the time we're recording towards their release.
Well, I mean, there's been. I mean,
delays, Reeves, I know, but they're still like the first that we're supposed to get.
I just hope that it doesn't end up. Okay, on the one hand, I do like the idea of the Disney Plus shows. However, for people who don't own Disney Plus, I do hope that this doesn't become, an issue. Like, these shows actually have vital.
Honestly, Jova, I'm pretty confident we're also gonna, after seasons are done, we're gonna still have DVDs and Blu-ray releases just for convenience sake.
Besides, like Besides, Joe, it's not even been a year since it launched, first launched, and there's already like 50 million people.
Not just that,
Remember, gonna need to worship our overlords.
not
Oh,
just
yeah,
that.
Hail Disney! Hail Disney!
Go ahead, Pedro.
Not just that, but well, Jova, a streaming service needs to have exclusive content to get people to subscribe. That's kind of how these things work.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Exclusive content is fine, but there may be a bit of backlash if it turns out, oh, these shows are actually integral to, like, the,
Well, they already said, Jova, they are.
Well, what I mean is, like, in the sense that you absolutely cannot miss these out. Like, again,
Remember, Jova, the WandaVision is gonna be pivotal towards the Doctor Strange 2.
like I said, though, I mean, okay, to people who are into movies but not shows, that may become an issue, as well as to people who don't own Disney Plus, unless, like you suggested, they eventually put on DVD. But like Pedro said, they may also keep them as Disney Plus
There we go.
exclusive. So who knows?
So here's hoping Sam Raimi has
Well, Dweebs, that doesn't really matter. Again, what I said doesn't necessarily involve the quality of the actual products. I'm talking about on a base level.
No, I meant like if it's leading into Doctor Strange 2, then I mean obviously Raimi's gonna have to make it fit with all the stuff that came.
Well, Dweebs, I'm confident. Remember,
That's what Kevin and his team are for, to catch
To
up
be-
to speed and tell them how things should be done.
not just that, the guy has been producer at the very least for stuff like the Hercules and Xena TV series back in the day. So it's not like he's completely fish out of water when it comes to series that tie into movies.
On another hand, this will make our MCU commentaries quite interesting, assuming that oh, yeah. So after this movie, we'll be watching this TV series. Granted,
Oh, why not, Jova? Might as well also refresh it. Anyway, all right. Here's
Thank you later.
all right. Here's where the story diverges a bit because now Zola has trapped Falsworth into a machine, supposedly with the idea of brainwash him and turn him against Cap. Sounds familiar.
yes, it does.
However, in the original draft, as we will see in the extras part, you were actually supposed to fight a brainwash Falsworth, then I will tell also why. But instead, you get essentially a sneak peek of the real set of final bosses and the true scope of our name Zola as a character in the Marvel Universe in general. The Zola bot. A robot with Zola's face on a TV screen on its chest.
Is this like in Winter Soldier where the face is just like an AI?
Yes, but now in this case it's different. In the comics, it's Zola's consciousness projected as an AI onto these robots. In here, it's Zola projecting himself while he's still alive onto these units. That's also why he can command multiple times at the same time.
I do like this though, because it does serve as a nice little foreshadowing of what's to come in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And it's also a nice design. One thing that I will say is that for the original design for some of the characters that come up in these games in general, for example like in 4, they did actually their job. Instead of actually making them carbon copy from the movie, they tried to work them around in terms of design and say how this will work with the aesthetics of the MCU. Just to make it more uniform and less standing out. Alright, the Zola bot, as you can imagine, is a bit of a bitch, but first let's see if I can actually get its theme real so I can understand a bit more.
I do like how, even though it's not 100% seamless, the developers definitely tried to make the transitions from cutscenes to gameplay mostly seamless. Of course, since it's going from a cinematic to gameplay, the letterbox format goes into full screen format with no black bars, so there's always that little bit in there. They probably should have removed the letterbox effect from the cutscenes just to that extra little bit of seamlessness.
But let's see, Pedro, that's what devs like to do to seem cinematic. But yeah, otherwise the graphic fidelity.
I don't know about that. I just think it should only be done when it doesn't harm the presentation.
I don't think it harms the presentation that much. It's just that it's their way of trying to cue you. Okay, these are definitely the cutscenes. Like, I'll give it this though. Yeah, for the most part, the cutscenes are pretty much on the same level as the game. Wow, we're literally viewing this while in the middle of a battle.
I just decided to do just to know what to do.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine with that. I just like to imagine the hilarity of Cap watching one of Zola's recordings while fighting Zola.
Hold on, Zola, give me a moment so I can listen to this real quick.
Yeah, I need to find out the weakness in your armor and all that jazz.
Consciousness. That is the key. Unfettered by the bonds of weak, decaying flesh.
That said, I will still include a self-destruct, just in case.
Live forever. A true immortal. The power that the mind, in its purest form, could wield is truly incalculable.
Yet again, defeated easily by a self-destruct.
The physical world, a disembodied consciousness.
Pretty
Not just that,
handy of him to just
you will
leave
see,
us
You will
here.
see in a second how weak this thing can be potentially in terms of design.
I mean, it's a better use of Toby Jones than the Snowman.
Not a dead end after all.
Oh, he was in that too?
Precisely.
Yeah.
So Zola...
What about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Waves?
I have not seen that movie.
Fallen Kingdom's more entertaining than the Snowman.
No, I mean Toby Jones' usage, because he's just there for like what, 2 scenes and then gets killed.
At least he gets killed by some. At least he gets something. At least he gets killed by something cool like a dinosaur.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah, sure. Alright, what you need to do with the Zola bot is to counter 2 times in a very specific pattern, because it tries to do a first punch, like that, then it tries to do a second, and you will do that, to counter that as well, in order to properly damage it. Let's try.
And both are Universal films as well. That's
So a movie.
Of course, you can use also your super moves freely on it, so there you go, like this. You will see me doing this maneuver a lot, because it's actually the more effective one. Then sometimes it does the ground pound, which you cannot counter, so it's best if you just dodge. Basically, it's basically a Dark Souls boss, to roll around constantly on the ground, you know, and sometimes parry. See guys, this is the Dark Souls of the MCU games.
But where's Sith?
We're even fighting in a church, so it's...
Well, again,
God, this is stupid.
all that's missing is Sith.
Sorry, Jova, no canine companions.
Aww.
There you go. Oh, yeah, I'm about to do it, but yeah, at least for these designs for this game, the next level games kind of had the right idea in mind, because here's an idea: when you actually put a TV screen on a robot, you can easily smash it in order to defeat the whole thing. So at least for this design, they actually had the right idea to actually cover it for the most part, because instead, in the comics and everything, Zola rolls around with this monitor proudly presenting and promptly gets smashed all the goddamn time.
Huh, mission report. That was actually easier than I was expecting.
Sorry, Falsworth, give me a minute, I need to blow shit up.
Just need to collect these Fabergé eggs.
Alright, here's the interesting thing.
Hey, at least it's not like an octopus where you have to get a Fabergé egg dressed as a clown.
Alright, here's the interesting thing, Waves, what I was mentioning, because Falsworth, which, if you don't remember, he does shows up also in the movie. As the character, is also the first incarnation of a recurring Marvel hero, which will have his better legacy character, so other people, have been the identity. The British hero Union Jack. It's not too fancy, it's just a guy with a gun and a knife and very acrobatic skills, but it is an interesting representation from the UK when it comes to Marvel heroes. And again, so the idea of the next game wanted to do was to fight an evil brainwashed version of Union Jack. Would have been cool, but I do believe it's probably because time constraints, and the budget allows them basically had them decide to reroute this final portion of the story. Instead, now it's time for Cap to give, I guess, his traditional motivational speech. Oh, finally. Oh.
Falsworth, are you all right?
Dugan, I thought you were well rid of me.
Huh.
Careful, Dugan. Zola somehow put his mind into that thing.
Don't worry, he'll be able to pull it back out, so he'll be around for the
suppose it's
rest
an
of the movie.
improvement. If you're as ugly as he was. Wish I'd been here to put him down myself.
Your ignorance is exceeded only by your arrogance. None of you could put me down. I am so far beyond anything you can conceive of. Put yourself the next step in human evolution, Captain?
No, those are the mutants. It's a different thing, Mr. Zola. You don't have the rights to them at this point.
To cleanse the earth of the Neanderthal.
It's my duty to shut you up. Come on, let's get out of here and let
Thanks,
the planes
Bucky.
bomb this place.
Wait, there's something underground. Something big. I'm not sure the planes can stop it. Or even survive it.
Only I
We'll
can.
deal with it.
Yeah, again, if there's one thing that I will say, it's the game that has in common with the Arkham games is that the fact that the hero needs to solve everything by himself.
If you think you're putting me on the bench
Again, I could excuse this game for having, limitations.
Whatever's under
I will
there is their
give this
ultimate
game
weapon.
something though.
Not sure I can
Unlike,
stop
you
it.
know,
Not
like
sure
with
all four of
Batman,
us
who's pretty much just shrugging everything and everyone else off.
Long-range support.
Never mind the
I need you
fact that
man to
Metropolis is very much a thing, so he could very much be asking for the League, so...
Also Keystone.
What makes you so
That
special?
too, yeah.
Listen to me.
Cap actually
None of us are
does have
special.
good reasons to be
If we
sending these
win,
guys
that'll
out,
be
because for
why.
one thing,
Because Zola and
they're not
Swashbuckling
exactly
are some
superhero
master
level
race, and we
like
know they're
him.
not.
There you go,
Vince.
it's
We
the
know
speech.
no man is more valuable than any other. We know it'll take all of us to stop this evil from spreading.
Exactly.
All of us standing
This is
together,
also what I
doing
mean. Chris Evans is actually. It sounds. Chris Evans sounds like he's actually believing what what he's saying for his speech. He's actually putting his soul into it.
Well, it helps that
probably
the
more than I
script
can
is
handle.
better than most of
Which
the
means it's up
other
to you to stop it for good. With mortars or airstrikes or whatever it takes. We either win together or we die together.
We'll carry out our duty, Captain. Have no fear of that.
Give him a boot in the head for me.
Oh,
See you soon.
When the evacuation plane comes, you be there to meet them.
Bucky, you survive.
With or without me.
all right, let's move on. Because basically now this is the point where the game tells you, all right,
Roger, Bucky and
hold on.
Dugan are on their way out with Falsworth. Listen, we've got a big target to hit. I need bombers inbound as soon as possible.
Let's get this shit sorted out.
yeah, this is basically the game telling you, all right, this is the point of no return. Collect all that you need before going through for the final boss.
Cause
Again, like I said, the game is very general. It surprisingly allows a lot of backtrack, so you can collect everything that you want in no time. This is actually a very easy game to platinum to boot.
Yep.
Again, it does the job that it's supposed to do for a licensed game, for the ages that it's targeting to. It's nice. Again, I can't imagine even the target of 12 plus for having trying and actually having enjoyment out of the previous MCU Sega games we did. Oh, give me a second into position. There you go.
Car your flies, Captain. Their buzzing and bombing are a futile annoyance. Bring them to
Keep telling yourself that.
Maybe he just loves listening to himself.
Maybe that's how he stays off the panic of knowing that Cap's coming for him.
The power I have harnessed is beyond your understanding, Captain. You cannot hope to stand against it.
Sure. Alright, like I said, the sewers allow you to have this mini hub that in turn allow you to, travel through different parts of the castle, freely.
Tonight you will bear witness to the birth of a new world.
So yeah, it's actually quite easy for you to get from place to place with very little time. Even the loading times are not that big compared to the other games. Alright, in order to progress instead, because we're about to instead do the final boss now, you need to go here.
No turning back once I go in there.
Get it, Steve. We can move on.
How nice of him to remind us.
battle's in ruins, your work is buried. It's over, Zola.
How wrong you are, Captain. My victory is only beginning.
All those people you killed, tortured, changed into monsters. And for what?
For what? For this. One learns as much from failure as from success. My goal should never have been improving flesh, but rather...
There you go, if you didn't collect it, the reels, you will still get to know his motivation through this.
I have improved upon you. You are but a footnote on the evolutionary path.
Again, this is roots coming from the guy who will eventually die from self-destructing his own computer frame.
How small-minded you are.
Lot of good leaving that flesh did for you, huh, Zola?
Lies in my mind, in what it controls. Let the sleeper rise.
Oh boy, that's a problem.
He's not really a sleeper now, then, is he?
Yeah. It's more
So
an awakener.
Call him an awaker.
Please, Mr. Sleeper, the frame rate can only take so much.
The frame rate is what's sleeping.
That big enough for you?
Ah, if the movie did like this.
Oh shit. Alright, first Zola bought to the decomission. Basically, this final rush is gonna be having to destroy like 3 of his things in different rounds, and then tackle the sleeper. Oof.
Well, the movie skipped over these events.
Yeah, remember this is all happening during that montage section where Steve and the others dismantled the Hydra operation. It was just one of the many. If anything, it says a lot that Steve was able to pull through all of his shit, you know, and the stuff that happened in the movie.
I know, right? It's an interesting way. It's a way to have a climactic finish without having the Red Skull be the final boss, of course.
Not just that, the way also the game will end, you will see, it will be definitely conclusive for this experience, but it will also be a sort of the adventure continues, which Steve says, we've managed to win this battle, but the war is not yet over. And not in a sense of sequel waiting for the game, but simply put, this is located in the middle of the movie, so you know that more things will be to come.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. If you use the weaponized move, there you go, you will force the Zola bot to fire a laser, which will allow you to do some crowd control. Especially because the other 2 Zola bots will have to be popped, while with other Hydra soldiers, meaning that you will probably be incentivized to use that move.
Ow.
Ow. Alright, first one.
Ow. Ah, I am blind.
Planes don't stand a chance.
My vision is impaired, I cannot see.
Yeah, Toby Jones is a Dalek.
That would be cool. Alright, let's first try to bomb him.
Oh, okay. I know how this works. We're supposed to tear off his arm and beat him with his arm.
If only.
Unfortunately, Platinum Games didn't make this.
There we go, at least, oh yeah, definitely got his attention.
Oh boy.
Shit.
I can already imagine the controller vibrations.
Run, Steve, run.
Okay, Steve, you have a giant metal monstrosity with pretty much essentially
Firing lasers at you.
summoning on the power of a celestial. Good luck.
Yeah, it's just another Sunday.
I do see. That's another thing this game excels at, just showing how awesome Cap is.
Switch bodies all you want. I'll wreck them all.
What deep lady.
Trust me, Zola. The one is all he needs.
It's all day.
Yep. Ow. Alright, let's see if I can pull it. There you go.
Oh, snap.
There we go. Like I said, it's good that the weaponized moves allow you to just create an explosion for ground control. Again, in general, the weaponized special move allow you to either use a weapon for yourself by, controlling temporarily the enemy before Steve 1 kills it, or in case of a bigger ones to cause an explosion that, knocks around everyone in the area. That is actually a cool implementation that allows you to take advantage of all enemy types. Ow. There are still also like the more gamey elements, like the fact that Dweebs, god damn it, more like the fact that Cap manages to recover health with its special moves, even though it doesn't really make sense. I guess you can chalk it up to the fact that the Super Serum gave him some kind of healing capabilities.
Wow, so I'm Captain America now. Cool.
I just fucked up. Anyway, let's pound this thing with our turret.
Oh, that'd be cool. I just renamed myself Captain Britain.
There's already a Captain Britain with.
Well, who's to say there can't be two? Sorry, I'm pretty sure the comics have had two of the same names.
Oh, Cap, I'm not sure about this.
So many occasions.
Oh,
Believe it or not, Dweebs, there was a time when there were 3 Spider-Women.
Jesus.
Buy you a few minutes.
What? How do we make that kind of shield?
The good people of Wakanda. That's so.
But Wakanda doesn't exist in the MCU.
Remember, at that point, in the moment, but please remember, the metal you being vibranium was already a thing, so does make sense. And considering how even the Black Panther movie pretty much tells that vibranium is essentially a meteor mineral that just plummets onto the earth when it lands in the middle of Africa, it does make sense to be also resistant to space type technology.
We have
another world's strongest situation.
I'm actually really looking forward to getting to Black Panther.
Oh yes, it's a very good movie. I even showed Shiroi that one.
Yeah, I mean, dodgy CGI aside.
Oh come on, okay, Dweebs. Even if I agree with you that the CGI may be lackluster, it's only a minimal component of it, though.
Well, I would agree with you, Tio, if it was like just some iffy scattered around the field every so often.
Well, aside from the rhinos, what specific example do you have?
The final battle.
Honestly.
Oh, you mean T'Challa versus Killmonger? That's supposed to be CGI?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I never found it that bad.
Well,
the Rhino...
also remember, Dweebs, there are again, I have times where I don't see how much of a CGI something may be. I mean, unless you were talking specifically about the grinder, but I'm talking about the suits as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'll need to rewatch the movie again.
I won't go too much into it now, since we'll have a whole movie to do that. But I'll just put it simply. They look like PS3 character models.
I definitely do not agree with the suits, but I'll give you the Rhino on that one.
I can't remember the Rhinos to be sure.
Well, that's because they are a minimal component, like we said.
Pretty much, yeah.
Ryan, hopefully for Black Panther 2, Ryan would have already improved.
Well, okay,
Remember, it was also a matter of budget. It's probably because of that.
Basically, by MCU standards, Black Panther kind of got the short end of the stick because Disney...
They thought it wouldn't be too successful.
Yeah.
Alright, can you stay down now?
Dude, I think I saw something. I need you to expose its neck.
There we go. Now it's time to sever the 3 cables.
Okay, have we got any scissors?
We have a shield, Dweebs. That should be enough. Alright, time to use the special shield pro maneuver. 1, 2, and 3.
Gotta love it. He ends it with his ever so...
Decapitation!
Oh hey, a little homage to the 90s film.
What are you talking about, Joe? Steve isn't a giant arsehole.
Hey, no, he's not decapitating a woman in this.
Nor did the doctor who gave him his powers died from really silly death.
Now, to be fair, that woman was trying to kill him, so you know.
It's supposed to be the fact that he just smiles as he does it.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright, and you can tell that this cutscene is pre-rendered because the frame rate is now optimal. Whee!
Well, I think it's getting a bit too fast.
That's because that's the thing, Wibbs. You're not accustomed to the 30 FPS for the entire game, but now that it's happening, it seems also real to you.
It looks like they put fast.
Gotta go fast.
Forward button.
That's what happens when you get accustomed to a broken frame rate, and then all of a sudden go back to a fixed one.
Normal looks too fast.
Considering what you were saying right before, so what you're saying, Bibbs, is could you please could you please stop the car? I think I'm gonna be sick. Then you leave. and then you wait as for us to leave the playthrough, only to take over the playthrough after we're all gone.
This game is just before and after I put my glasses on.
Or Baron Zemo. If you only saw whatever happened to his castle.
Buck, that explosion took out the whole side of the mountain.
Oh no, could Cap be
dead?
dead?
The possibility then.
He got out.
Don't worry, Joe. We're like hold for like what, less than a minute on this.
See,
even the game itself knows that it's bullshit.
Yeah, like even Bucky knows.
So Captain America never got frozen in the iceberg, and thus the future battles of the Avengers in them would go really badly.
Not gonna lie, that could make for an interesting what-if story.
Yeah, what if Captain America died?
During World War II. I'm pretty sure there is a continuity that has that.
Well done, Rogers. Well done.
Never doubted for a second.
You did it, Cap.
POWs?
In the forest. We got them all out.
Yay.
You did it. You got those men out. You saved their lives. And every one of them is a key to winning this war. They were here for months. They saw Zola's experiments, worked as slave labor on his assembly lines, heard the details of Hydra's plans.
So yeah, this victory is also more worthy because now the Allies do have more intel about Hydra than what they expected.
Thanks to them. Thanks to you. We'll be ready for whatever Hydra throws at us. We're that much closer to finding the rat holes they hide in. And we're booking ourselves a ticket to come back here, at the head of an invasion force.
By the way, Bucky, I hear that there's this mission on a train. You up for that?
Come on.
Of course, I am. Yeah, just make sure you don't fall in.
Oh, absolutely. I'll make sure to be safe.
And off they ride into the night, pretty much. And that's it. We do have a minor post-credit scene at the very end, so stick to it for the most very big. Also, again, this is the thing that plays also in the title screen, and I absolutely love it.
I honestly have to wonder, did somebody actually share with them the script for the movie? Because more often than not, a very common problem with movie tie-ins was that the devs didn't necessarily know the story of the movie.
Yeah, that's the problem what happened probably with 4, and probably with the first Iron Man game.
Maybe they were given just a broad story outline, and they had to work the rest themselves.
I think what's great though is like, well, there's a lot of story details that even reference sections in the movie too, as well, and the characters are
remember,
very
Jova, it
well.
worked both ways because again, stuff from Avengers and Winter Soldier seems to be very inspired by the event that happens in this game.
That
I
too,
do wonder.
yeah.
But yeah, final thoughts. Pedro, since you're the cap enthusiast.
No, this actually looks pretty damn good, actually. Good, but then again, considering who made it, that's not surprising at all, because I really like Next Level Games' work. So yeah, Project Babies. So yeah, it looks like a pretty fun Batman Arkham style Cap game. Yeah, and it seems like it does a great job in basically expanding upon what First Avenger did, and yeah, it seems like it works really well. I like the music, and the actors seem all invested, surprisingly. So it's nice to see. And I also really like the how they went out of their way to add all these video and audio logs to like, it really feels a lot like they were trying their hardest to make this a full fleshed out story. So it is appreciated.
Again, this is the one that the game of the MCU bunch that actually has more content in it, because the extra stuff that, like, in terms of extra stuff, maybe 4 has the most of it, and that's very minimal.
Again, Teo, the best Avenger gets the best game. that's how it should be, of course. I actually really enjoyed it. I might actually get this game at one point so I can play for myself. But yeah, from what I'm seeing here, I can already tell.
I actually was curious. I originally did wanted to hazard a bet before starting the run to tell you that it would have actually convinced you to play this, but I actually wanted to wait and see. But in case, probably the Xbox 360 version runs a bit better if I had to hazard a guess.
Probably. It's a shame it's not backwards compatible on the One. Because I really hate the 360 controller. But well, I'll look and I'll see. From what I'm seeing here, it seems like the PS3 version runs fine.
Well, it honestly, I think in gameplay and in cutscenes, it never manages to reach a proper 30 FPS. Only in that minor cutscene, pre-rendered cutscene at the very end. Ironically enough, this is the game that would have benefited the most of something like a PC port. Because I did check, for example, stuff like X-Men Origins Wolverine did get PC ports, and that's why you do see a couple of gameplay that actually runs optimally. But unfortunately, it wasn't a case for this bunch of games, due to probably how rushed they were.
But yeah, I really enjoy it. Actually, definitely the best MCU tie-in game. Like, it's not even a contest. It's so blatantly better than all the others.
All right, Lips.
It looks fun. You know, aside from those weird slowdowns, especially during the cutscenes. The music's fine. What I've heard, these are the best vocal performances in these games, especially from Chris Evans. And it looks like a very solid beat 'em up. It's just a shame this was the last one.
Yeah, just as the games were getting good, the entire project was canned. But hey, again, just looking at the positive, at least they ended up on a strong note.
Well, the project didn't.
When I say at the end of it, I don't mean the end of beat 'em.
The project didn't entirely end. Believe it or not, for a brief moment, the rights were given over to Ubisoft.
Well, Jova, I'm still convinced that that Avengers game that Ubisoft did is not really anymore tied to the movie itself. But that's responsible for whoever's gonna do it, because from what I heard, the best version is on the Wii U, and I don't have that. I don't have that one. But remember also, Joe, they did the free mobile games based on Phase 2, and even if I haven't played it, I have a strong feeling that we're not like on par with these.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's very solid.
Alright, Shiroi.
Yeah, this was easily the best of the bunch from what we've had to go through. It definitely looks like the most fun of the bunch to go through. I like the data log, like the way that's handled here. It's not a boring info dump, and it actually makes sense with the way it's presented in universe. It was actually... No, they were actually quite interesting to sit through. Like Dwip said, the characters sound like they care, which is very nice, and like... But even more so that they feel like, you know, they were, you know, really happy to be within the role again. So that's always nice.
Chris Evans said in the end game behind the scenes that, and I'm quoting him, "I love the character. He's everything I wish I could be as a man and more." So basically,
Well, you can tell that here, and
Yeah,
in his
it's
performances in general.
it's a two-way. He inspires other people, you know, and he seeks that as a source of inspiration for himself as an actor. That's cool.
Yeah, and that's all I have to say. This was just really good.
Jova.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this game overall. It has a pretty good gameplay style, you know, it takes cues from the Arkham series in a good way, mind you, while also being able to still feel like its own unique enough thing. The voice acting is top-notch, the story is top-notch, the level of detail put into this game is so refreshing, especially for a licensed tie-in game, mind you. Like, it really does feel like this could literally fit in the MCU. Like, there doesn't seem to be any contradictions whatsoever.
Oh, arguably, like I said, Baron von Strucker and in a certain, you know, angle, Madame Hydra, possibly. But like you said, you could find potential ways to go around it. Hold on, give 1 second, Joel, because we're about to get the stinger. Oh shit. Some more foreshadowing towards Winter Soldier, I see.
Hell Hydra.
Not just that, we're about to get the proper cutscene because, you know, yes, we defeated the plans of Hydra, but what happened to Zola?
He claimed to have left his body, didn't he?
Yeah, if you watch all the credits, you actually do get a trophy achievement. That robot has seen better days.
I am Zola Bot.
Brother. Oh wait, wrong game. There we go.
You have had your fun. Now stop wasting time on failed
Jesus.
and get back to work.
Schmidt is savage.
God, the game's so that bad.
Soon enough.
Poor Zola.
And there we go. Again, good way to tie into the rest of the movie. Basically, if anything, the only way this game is a bit not uncomfortable, but you know, not optimal enough, is that you technically need to pause the movie, play the game, and then unpause it if you want like the super cut. But anyway, continue, Jova.
Yeah, overall, it's a very well-crafted tie-in game. Next Level Games really put their A-game material in on this. Chris Evans is still as bright as ever. And again, the fact that this would later influence stuff like Captain America Winter Soldier does show that this was the tie-in game that really hit the mark here and there. So yeah, well done. Well done, well done.
Alright, I'll finish quickly. Yeah, honestly, as a person who actually had to endure all these MCU tie-in games, this was actually a breath of fresh air, especially after... not even especially, pretty much after everything. Like I said, the first Iron Man was tedious, but at least it was short. The Incredible Hulk was very painful and full of glitches. Iron Man 2 was short, but still very boring. And then 4 was average for the most part, and then frustratingly difficult at the very end. This feels the more consistent, the one that rewards more, you know, the challenge in terms of balance between skill and difficulty presented onto you. It has a decent enemy variety, you know, different types of moves that you can perform, and mixed matches between them, the collectibles you can find, the setting. One strong point, for example, of the data log that she already did mention in Final Thoughts. I guess, like I mentioned in our part, the strong point of the devlog is the fact that it's treated more like an audio log instead of just a bunch of text that you have to read. They didn't really have to recycle a voice actor. They actually called Steve Blum on its own just to voice the character of Baron Zemo, just to voice these pieces of text. They could have easily just paid money on the project and just left them in as text, but no, they actually went the step through to make it more digestible for you to find in these entries and discovering what happened, you know. But that's very nice. The story is pretty solid in terms of how serviceable it is in inserting comfortably itself in the movie. Again, let's think about the movie before the rest of the MCU was done, you know, just at that point. This game fits basically like a glove. It's not the awkward prequel that 4 was, that didn't fit at all because it ended with the same situation that 4 ends up at the end of the movie. So you're telling me that it doesn't learn the lesson, Iron Man 2 as a sequel could have worked, but it feels, a bit abrupt in terms of scale because you pass from, John Malkovich hijacking a bunch of armors to Ultimo of all fucking things, And Iron Man, Incredible Hulk were just retelling of the stories, which not even bothering considering how so much they change. But yeah, these ones fits, and that's the most commendable thing. So if you're actually very curious about it, and even if you want to just be enthusiastic, want to snack some trophies away, actually give this a try. It's actually good to as a time passing. It's also good for teaching the basics or an Arkham style beat 'em up. So it's actually very useful if you have a child that's actually interested in the MCU and wants to play a game but maybe doesn't have still much experience or skills. Maybe this one is the perfect introduction for that.
So basically, out of the MCU, there were 2 good titles: Captain America, which was great, and the Wii version of Iron Man, which was also good, but we didn't cover.
2.5, considering apparently also the DS version of 4 apparently was also good. Maybe one day I will come up on that specifically because DS easy to emulate and all. We'll see how it goes. For now, the game is not properly over yet because we will have another extra part for the extras. But basically, this was also, technically speaking, the end of Sega's partnership, as Zola mentioned, because Ubisoft will do an Avengers game probably from the remnants of that cancelled Avengers game, and then the 3 mobile games will be assigned to a different minor publisher. So in terms of contract, this is basically the end. But still, tune in for the next part when we handle the extra stuff. So, yeah.
See you then.
Yeah.